Well, that's new.
I like that.
You like that?
I do. I like that.
And welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match pint. It's a Monday edition. First of all, apologies that we didn't do one Saturday. We couldn't get the gang together, and we was going to do one yesterday, but once again we couldn't get the gang together again. So you've got the three musketeers at the moment. Nicky's not here tonight, unfortunately. I don't know where Dan is. Dan was meant to be here, but I don't know where he is.
I did just see a message pop up when we watched that. He said he's joining now.
All right.
So it should.
All better late than never. But
here we go.
Yeah. Let's get this show on the road, Scott.
Hang on.
Here he is. There he is. You all right, Dan?
Yeah, mate. I'm still hungover. Dan, like I can't do it anymore.
Sound about musketeers. Dan has got the old tash for a musketeer, and he's got like it's like the finest swordsman in all of France.
Dan, all I'm saying, mate, is just enjoy it because we're coming into a second lockdown now, so all the pubs and that are going to be shut.
That's why I tried to make the most of it, but it's like honestly, when you get to that age and you're like, it takes you 2 days to recover from a big session. It was, yeah.
Time, How old is Dan?
Scott, take us through the starting lineup, mate. Remind us of the starting lineup because it was like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, lucky enough, one my memory is normally quite bad, but I can remember the starting 11. So Fabianski in goal, Spoofal right, Masuaku left, Creswell, Bonner and Balbuena as the three centre halves, Rice, Souček in the middle, with Fornals, Bowen and Haller up top.
Well, it was, we sort of said this on Friday night, didn't we? That was going to be the starting lineup. Haller straight in for Antonio. Surprised by that, or do you think he was going to maybe mix it up a little bit?
I don't think he could afford to mix, and this is what I was saying. I was saying this before. It's like I didn't want to see Haller just be expected to slot into Antonio's role because he's not effective. However, I think Moyes' options were limited because you're going to Anfield against a side with the attacking power that Liverpool have. He obviously had to still set up in a way to try and stop them playing and to try and work out defensively. So it was always the focus was going to be more on our defense and our attack. So I don't think he could set up and try and maybe play someone up top or try and get players closer to Haller because he had to think about that defensive shape. So I'm not surprised, but yeah, obviously you would like to have seen us find a way to get more out of Haller, but I don't blame him. I understand why he played the same setup, but just dropped Haller in.
I mean, the thing is, like, with Antonio, you know, he's gonna run the channels, he's gonna wrestle the back line. Haller's not that sort of player, is he?
No,
he was never going to sort of press the back line for 90 minutes. You know, he's just not that type of player. He hasn't got the pace and the power that Antonio's got.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? That's why we were discussing on the Friday night, saying about, you know, to get the best out of Haller, he needs a strike partner, or, you know, he needs to play as a front three. And down at the now on the edge, you've got a team. You're playing a team like Liverpool. You can't afford to change your system. You know, the system we've had's been working well, and you know, it's just chucking Haller in. Not a lot of game time that he's had. Right, he had the 2 Carling Cup games, Carabao Cup games. Sorry, that he's played. You know, that's the only football he's really had. He's had 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. So he was expecting a lot from him, and you know, he got a lot of criticism. And to be fair, I think a lot of it's undeserved, and that's my opinion. Look, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not having a go at people having their opinion.
I don't know. There was just a couple of times where you thought maybe he could have at least like challenged for an header or gone and pressed. But he looked a little disinterested. Only like a couple of occasions in the game. Yeah,
I said on the chat when we were watching the game to Nicky, you know, he wasn't aggressive enough. But he's not going to run around and chase lost causes like Antonio does. We can't keep putting Haller in the same bracket as Antonio. Antonio's a worker, he's a grafter. That's not Haller. Haller we've bought to bring in to be the focal point of an attack and then change the system completely.
But he's been dying. He's been crying out for a chance. That was his first start since Arsenal away last season, when there was crowds there. He's been dying to get a starting lineup, but for me, it just didn't. I understand what you're saying. I do feel a bit of the stick he's been getting is a bit uncalled for because, as we said, it wasn't that type of game for him. He's not going to do what Antonio does. But the thing is, for me, it's just I know Liverpool had a lot of the ball, but I think the chances he had to do something, he didn't do it, and he looked. It was very frustrating.
But do you think like a lot of it as well comes with match fitness and getting a run in the team and playing week in, week out? Do you know what I mean?
I'm not going to judge Haller on Liverpool away. I'm going to judge Haller against Fulham at home and Sheffield United. They're the sort of game. I know, look, we said on Friday Night Pint, this was a sort of bonus game. You know, we've got 8 points so far this season that we've took 8 points off of teams that we never took a point off last season. So now, really, our season starts sort of 8 points ahead of where we thought we was going to be. I mean, Fulham won tonight. If they beat us on Saturday, they go a point behind us in the table. And Fulham have had a terrible start, and we think we've had a great start. So it just shows how tight it is down there.
That's it. And this is what I mean.
If we'd have won Sunday, we were 2 points behind Liverpool. That's how tight the table is.
Yeah, but that's
sorry, Graham. I just need to swap places with you, mate. So yeah, there you go. Now
he does this guy. He comes in.
You've got to be on the left.
Yeah,
yeah. So now it looks like I'm not looking away.
You know, that's the thing. You know, it wasn't the game to change it. We said this on Friday Night Pint. Maybe the Fulham game is the game to switch to the two up top. You know, to give Haller a partner. He's not going to work his nuts off. The service he got into the box as well, the crosses into the box, are absolutely awful on Saturday. You know, there was no decent balls in the box. Everything was over it. You know, a couple of them went out for a corner, which is ridiculous. And if you watch Haller's movement when we're getting into situations where he you know, we can cross the ball into the box, his movement is good. He always looks to drift off to the back post or come to the front post. His movement, we just don't find him out. And this is the problem. We can't keep criticising him. He don't work hard enough. That's not his game. He wants the ball into feet. He wants the crosses to come into the box and pick him out. We don't do that. So if we're going to be without Antonio for a period of time, these next games we've got coming up against Fulham and Sheffield United, we need to be looking to change things to suit the striker that we've got. Because look, put the ball into the box for him to get on it, he'll probably get on it. But we don't do that often enough. And that's the big thing.
You're really spot on. I think a lot of people throw words out like work rate and passion and interest without actually realizing, you know, what players are, and they just throw the words out and not realizing, okay, maybe these players just not being played in an effective way. And I think that's just the thing. If it's a striker's not scoring or not, you know, getting chances, people would just assume that that's the problem. And like you said, it's when you've got no pace, you know, trying to close players down and trying to get close to the ball, it's not going to happen. Like, you could do it as much as you want. If you put me out there, I love West Ham. I'd fight tooth and nail, but I'd look like a lazy bastard. I'd look disinterested because I ain't got no pace at all. I'd be like trying to jog and getting nowhere near no one. So that was a double negative.
You try and look at the way teams play, the way we play our defensively are. It's really hard to find a striker to play the role that Antonio plays. You look at Antonio, you know, don't forget he's not a striker, he's a winger.
The thing is, we said on Friday Night Pint, Scott, the thing is with Antonio is as soon as their midfielders get the ball, they know if they knock it over the top, Antonio's going to chase it. He's going to give everything. He's going to barge people off the ball, his strength, his pace. You're not going to get that with Haller. That's why we said that you have to get Bowen and Fornals closer to him. And there was a couple of times that he did win headers, but there was no one around him. And that comes down to Fornals and Bowen, and even Souček for me, I thought had a really average game. I mean, he's been outstanding for us since he's joined, but he wasn't even getting in the box, was he? As much as we know he can, but that also comes down to you got to give a lot of credit to Liverpool as well, because they had a lot of possession, they had a lot of the ball, and we was just chasing shadows for a lot of that game. And when Haller's the only player in their half, while all the rest of our midfielders sitting back, Haller is the one trying to chase that ball down, and as soon as they knock it around him, he's not going to chase it down, is he?
But that's it, and that's the thing. That's the problem because he's not got the pace. They know that they can just wait for him to get a bit closer to him and knock the ball around him. You know, and then then he's just chasing shadows, isn't he? Because no one else is pressing high. We're sitting deep. And that's the thing with Antonio. You get same as with Arnautovic. When we had him, he's a bit pacier. The work rate is there a bit more. You know, we had the same problem when we were playing Hernandez up top on his own, and people were calling him lazy. It's not his game. It's not his game. We can't. Only certain players can play that lone striker role.
I mean, it's funny though. They never get called lazy until they come here, isn't it? I mean, I suppose you wouldn't go to Frankfurt and people going that Aller's lazy, or like before, go to.
Because he was playing in the 2 and scoring goals.
Yeah, exactly. Same with Hernandez though. And that lazy.
Put him in a better side. He'll score goals.
The trouble is, if you're playing lone, like if you're chasing lost causes for 75, 80 minutes, you're shattered. So you might get one opportunity in the 88th, 89th minute, and you're too knackered to get there.
Yeah.
So, and that's if you're playing the lone striker. You got to pick your times to go and press and when to drop off a bit.
And if he does win that ball, right, like Ryan said, where everyone else is so deep and he's up there by his own. If he does win there, then what does he do? Because he's not going to be able to sit there and
he's not going to be he's not the sort of player who's going to win the ball and knock it around someone and beat him for pace.
Yeah, like Arnautovic or Antonio would.
Let's just quickly talk through some of the main talking points in the game. I mean, the first one, we actually found ourselves 1-0 up in a game that was dominated by Liverpool. We actually found ourselves 1-0 up, and it was a great ball in from Masuaku. Gomez with a poor header out. Fornals chested it down, and he's tucked in the bottom corner, posting in. I think it was a bit harsh that the commentators were saying that he scuffed the shot, because
he didn't scuff
it.
He
scuffed it to me. It was just.
It's the Liverpool bias coming out.
Yeah, I was going to say if that was Mane, then they would have been raving about it or something like that. But no, it was a great finish from Fornals, and that's his second appearance at Anfield and 2 goals in 2 games for him. So, Dan, can I just say I feel very uncomfortable watching myself on your screen.
See, at least people can see that I'm actually looking at you and I'm not disinterested in what you're saying. But I think with Fornals, I have to give him a lot of credit for that goal, because not only did the way he scored it, but he was a big part of the build up to that goal. Mm-hmm. And I think he did. We did get a little bit lucky with the header, but I think that we created that luck. And I think
the defender should have put his foot through it instead of heading it, trying to header it from there, because it was so low. But no, it's a great touch by Fornals, and it's a great finish. I mean, it's right in the corner. Alisson, no chance, and Alisson's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And no chance. Bottom corner, 1-0. Come on, you irons.
And from him as well to take that, which is sometimes we don't see. Sometimes when he's in them situations, that's when he'll sky it or something. But I think he showed a lot of composure to finish that.
I think he's like you said. When you look at it, I think he starts to move off, doesn't he? He lays it out to Masuaku.
Well, I think you've got to give great credit to Masuaku and Creswell down the left, because Masuaku got the ball, Creswell made that overlap, and Alexander-Arnold went with Creswell, allowing Masuaku the space to put the ball in.
Yeah, and that's it. But the thing, like you said, you make your own luck. Fornals has laid that ball and then drifted into a position where he knows if the ball gets cleared, it could drop to the edge of the area, because sometimes that's what happens, and puts himself in the right situation. And he did that a couple of times throughout the game. He got himself into decent situations, but obviously it didn't come off.
I think he's sort of done that some of the eyes there, because I think most right footers would have gone for the far corner.
Yeah.
Gone across the goal, but he's, that's what wound me up when I was going, he scuffed it. He didn't.
The commentators were unbearable the whole game. Honestly, I had it quite low.
Jamie Carragher as one of them.
Yeah, Jamie. Who was the other? Because the thing is with Carragher,
watching the game with him.
He's a Liverpool fan. I can give him a let off, right? He's Jamie Carragher. He's a Liverpool legend. But the other guy, who was the other one who was? Because I was catching a few comments and I could hear him bloody having an orgasm when they scored the winner. It was it's just what you expect, isn't it? From
I was lucky I didn't have to put up with Jamie Carragher's annoying voice. So he's
so quiet. It's unreal.
I I was watching the game on BN Sports, and the commentators on there were spot on throughout the whole game. To be honest,
I mean, there was a couple of sort of half chances. As we said, Liverpool had a lot of the ball, but the main talking point was just before half time. If we can get in at 1-0, you set up different second half and try to sit back and defend the lead. But I mean, just before that, Mane went through. Great. I mean, there could have been a shout for a penalty there, but I think Creswell got his body across the ball. Mane didn't really appeal for the penalty. And I think the commentators were more looking for a penalty than actually Mane.
When you see that back, Creswell does well, and to be honest, you could turn around and say that was a foul on Creswell.
Yeah.
More because he got his body in front of Mane, he did, and got to the ball, which is good to see. It's a good bit of defending from him. He doesn't get praise enough for some of his defending. He seems a lot more confident now, Creswell. Especially
last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he loves playing in that back three. And if you remember, last time he was that confident was when Moyes put him in the back three last time. So that's credit. Yeah, it's credit to Moyes as well. And he's got the pace of Masuaku to help him out. Exactly. But look, the penalty. I mean, me personally, I think it was a penalty because he has kicked his foot. But the way Salah's gone down is embarrassing. It's a joke.
Do we know if they managed to save his leg or not? The way he screamed, I thought it snapped it off. Is he all right?
Masuaku's kicked the bottom of his foot, and if that was a West Ham player, we'd all be saying that was a penalty. He's kicked his foot, and then he looks like he's stepped on it as well after. He obviously hasn't meant it, but Salah's gone down like he's been shot. And that is the most embarrassing thing. We've seen it over the weekend with Son, with Harry Kane. There's too many players doing it now, but this ain't the first time that Salah's done it against West Ham. He done it last season. Remember when Ogbonna, it looked like he was looking for that, and we know he's got his reputation, but unfortunately, it was a penalty. I think Masuaku knew he's kicked him, but it's just the way he's gone down. That's the embarrassment for me.
I don't think it was a penalty personally, because I mean, it's been sort of made out like he kicked him, but really, if you look at it, he puts his foot out for. Obviously, he's putting his foot out for the ball to knock it. So he's not put any force behind it. There's people are saying there's contact. There's contact, but I don't think contact means penalty or contact means foul. It's a contact. Well, there's always going to be contact, but I think it's a type of contact. Like if he don't go out, if he don't go down, no one bats an eyelid at that. No one bats an eyelid. No. I think it was silly of him to. I think what he should have done is just stay tight to him, and he's invited that. But what I'm saying is, I don't think that there's enough in there for him to impede or affect Salah.
Yeah, because he's going away from goal, really, isn't he? Because he had his back to him and he's kicked him from. But ask yourself this: if you was watching the live stream now, West Ham Liverpool, and that was Haller in the Liverpool box, would you have said penalty?
Yeah, but cool. Yeah, but as a fact, but
we all know if that had been down the other end, that wouldn't have been given.
Liverpool fans, let's be real. If that was given against them, they'd be fuming. Not just for the dive, but for that. But look at the Antonio shout against Man City last week, right? That don't even get any scrutiny or anything, man. This is the consistency. That is much more of a chance for me. That's close to a penalty, and I wasn't raging. Even when at the time I said to Nicky, I'm not sure, but it's damn sure more of a penalty than the Salah one. And what annoyed me as well is they didn't scrutinize that enough. Even if you want to say that's a penalty, that deserved a lot more scrutiny. I believe that warranted the ref going to the monitor, having a look at it, then playing it a few times. And if they would have just decided it was a penalty then they've decided it. But the fact they just didn't even scrutinise it enough.
Last week, apparently saying they didn't scrutinise it. They scrutinised our goal more, whether Souček had handballed it in the build-up when it was blatantly obviously didn't. Like when the replays, but they focus more on that than whether we should have had a penalty. So
they're rewarding cheating, and that's what makes me sick. We've seen Harry Kane in his game. Same thing he done to Creswell. He's dived, but also tried to take the player out, endangering players, and all this retrospective bans for deception that they rolled out to Lanzini and the Everton player. We just haven't seen it, and they're just allowed. So not only are they winning penalties, they're not getting banned, and they're just going to keep doing it. This is the new culture in football now.
This is the thing, right? Again, watching on what I was watching on when they replayed the penalty, they said two things played into part of that being awarded. How loud Salah screams, like Graham said, and Ryan said, is if someone snapped his leg off, right? Which is embarrassing in the first place. Secondly, Masuaku stops.
I think you always
and just carries on, doesn't stop, just carries on. The referee thinks twice.
I think in them situations, you've always got to look at the player's reaction. And when Masuaku stopped and sort of held his hands up, I think he knew that he's made contact with Salah, and he knew that he's made a big mistake there. The thing is, when you're in and around that box, strikers. Now you look at Callum Wilson yesterday. Did you see his penalty?
No.
When the corner come in, he's the Brighton. Who did they play?
Everton.
The Everton defender's gone to clear it, and Callum Wilson knows he's going to do it, so he's sort of run in front of him and put his leg out. So the Everton defender's kicked his leg, and he's got a penalty. He's not in no way going to get the ball or get an opportunity.
But this is the thing, right? It's the game now. Certain players in the game now, they just feel a brush from a defender, they fall down as if like they've been barged down. Right, and that's the problem for me, is the way the people go down. If that's anywhere else on the pitch, I don't think it's free kick, if I'm honest. The referee says play on. It's the fact, because one, it's Liverpool, two, Salah screams like a girl, and the fact Masuaku stops. Masuaku just should have come off and absolutely protested when the referee gave the penalty. And this thing as well, it's rewarding them to cheat, to throw themselves on the floor. But the thing is, I ain't gonna have too much of a go at Salah for screaming, because I'm sure Yarmolenko or Souček, when he clashed heads, screamed like a girl and then got back up and got on with it. You can't moan at one and then not moan at the other. The
referee in that situation, like knowing how Salah is, he should have called for VAR and then gone over and looked at it himself. But he didn't. He's just given the penalty straight away. I don't even think VAR looked at it.
Do you know what? I think they still would have given it anyway, mate.
Yeah. It's
I think they still would have given it.
But then it's a weird one, right? Okay, so I know, like, obviously, if you feel it's a penalty and he dived, right? I feel it's not a penalty and he dived. But if you're in the camp of you feel it's a penalty when he dived, do you award the penalty? But can you, if they award the penalty, can you also punish the dive?
No. Of course. If you think it's a penalty,
if you're punishing him for diving, then
it's not a penalty.
That's what I mean.
Then it's not a penalty, is it? So
he's clearly dived. It's funny, even Souness, right, who's massive bias against Liverpool. He's been biased against us as well, but even he said that's not a penalty.
Yeah,
and he's Liverpool bias.
I think he's been getting slated, hasn't he?
I can see why. I can see why the referees give the penalty, but I can also see why people don't think it's a penalty. It's one of them ones. It's very fucking harsh.
That's what I'm saying, right? If it's so divisive like that, surely it warranted a lot more scrutiny from the ref, and it's not as clear cut as he's just gone, oh, Salah's down, I hear that scream, penalty. Like, and there's no people in his ear going, it looked like a dive, maybe it warrants another look. It could have been.
I mean, how good would that have been if the referee would have looked at VAR, not give the penalty, and then booked him for diving? Yeah. Imagine what the message that would have sent out to the rest of the Premier League.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have, though, because it's Liverpool, isn't it? So
it's a stain on the sport. It's a massive stain on the sport. And if that's what it becomes, if that's what this game comes, I think a lot of people are going to be falling out of love with it, because the more it's getting rewarded, now Salah's going to know, and of course, he's done it successfully a lot of the times. Salah and Kane and all that are going to be like, that's going to be a big part of their game. Every week you're going to see it. They feel a little something, throw themselves to the floor. There needs to be punishment. That's
like it as well, though.
What's that?
Suarez was like it as well.
Oh yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, and it's just one of them things of it's just gonna grow and grow, because so can you blame our players if they decide to do that and think, you know what, if you can't beat them, join them at the end of the day?
No, that's the problem. That is it, isn't it? That is the thing. If you're not going to win by being honest, like you said with Antonio, if he goes down like Salah went down against City, we get a penalty. If he tries to stay on his feet, you don't get a penalty, and you can see why they do it, because they get away with it, and that's the problem. The more they get away with it, the more they're going to do it, and that's the frustrating thing. And that's what VAR was brought in for. But it's one of them. I said personally, I don't think it's penalty. There was contact. It's not intentional contact, in my opinion. But
anyway, after he attached his leg back on, he got up to take the penalty. Great penalty, straight down the middle.
He takes it. He makes it look, isn't it, as if he's going to the right.
If Fabianski stands up, he saves it. But it's one of them ones, isn't it? It's a great penalty, and we go in at 1-1. I think most of us probably would have took that at half time, 1-1 at Anfield. Second half, we come out, and I don't know. I just think we sat back too much. We just invite Liverpool on, and we didn't look to take any chances. We didn't look. You still got Sebastian Haller up there on his own, isolated. For me, Bowen, a lot of running. Fornals had that massive chance where he could have squared it back to Bowen. If he squares that back, we're 2-1 up. There's no way that Bowen's missing that.
The thing is,
it was pretty much an open goal if he'd have squared it.
The one where he stretched for it, don't get a lot of connection.
Yeah, that first one where he stretched for it, all right, you can that's a half chance, but that chance. But
if he left that one, Bowen's standing right there unmarked.
Yeah.
It's twice that second one. You see Bowen's frustration because Bowen's standing there next to him, totally unmarked, and he shoots when all he's got to do is just pass it to the side, and Bowen's got a better chance on goal than what he had. Not saying Bowen would have scored, the keeper may have saved it, but Bowen had more of a clear-cut chance than Fornals had.
He just needs to work on his decision making a bit for now, I think, in them situations. I think overall in the balance of the game, like not even just the goal, I think he had a really good game. It's just when those big he gets himself in these big situations that could be potentially match winning, and he always seems to make the wrong choice a lot of the time.
But he's got to get that out of his game because sooner or later he'll get dropped for doing things like that, especially if people like Ben Rama and Lanzini pick up a bit of form and want to challenge him for that. But yeah, it's just, I agree. There's been so many. I mean, the last 4 games, he's got 2 goals and 2 assists. So we can't knock him. He does a lot of running with the ball, without the ball. I just think sometimes his final decision making, I mean, that one there, if he squares that, Bowen's got a tap in and we're 2-1 up and it's a totally different game. But for me, the changing point of the game was a double substitution by Liverpool. They took off Firmino and Jones and brought on Shaqiri, who I thought his career was finished at Anfield. And they brought on Jota, who's, he's in, what a signing he's been, 23 years old. He's going to go on to be, he looks like he's got the potential to be a world-class player at Liverpool.
He deserves to be starting week in, week out for them.
Yeah, well, Firmino hasn't been doing it much for Liverpool, and he's there to take over. So that was the turning point for me. I mean, as soon as them two come on, Jota's first goal was ruled out. It was a great save by Fabianski. Mane and Ogbonna have slid in. For me, it is a foul because Mane hasn't got the ball. And not only does that, as he sort of gets up, he's sort of holding Fabianski down and he's wiped out Ogbonna as well. So it is a foul. It is a foul. There's no way that, I know Liverpool fans are saying, oh, it was a goal and all that, but it wasn't. They've checked VAR and it's the right decision. He doesn't touch the ball. If Mane would have got a touch on that ball, then it wouldn't have been a foul. It would have just been a collision. But he hasn't. And you see the way he goes over Fabianski, stops Fabianski from getting up.
Yeah. I think if Mane touches the ball, Jota's offside. When you watch it back, because I'm sure Jota's in an offside position, because at first the commentators on the one I was watching thought it was being replayed for an offside. And then it come up, it was being replayed for a foul.
I mean, when I was watching it, I was baffled at how long they took to determine that was not a goal, because it was such a clear-cut foul. It's a blatant. It goes in.
You could say the first time they watched it, Ogbonna touched it. Ogbonna flicked it away.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He slides up into the keeper, and we know our keepers are protected in the game as well. So not only does he slides up to him, he's impeding him at the same time for the goal. They scrutinised that more than they scrutinised the penalty on Salah. They took ages, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, how is this taking? You just look at it once, and then he had to walk over, didn't he, to the monitor? Then he had to go.
To be honest, mate,
I still thought they were going to give it. I still thought they were going to give the goal.
Mate, if they would have given it, I would have been done, mate.
Well, that's why you've got to praise the referee there, because usually they stick with their decision because they don't want to look stupid. But fair enough to it. He's gone over there. He's had a look at it, and he's realised that, it's not a goal. it is a foul, and it was the right decision.
It honestly, I was fuming. I was like, wait, what's going on? Why are we taking so long to decide? It was a long time, but it was, to me, that was so cut and dry, so right decision, thankfully, because that would have been a sickening way, like rather than the actual way that they did go and score the winner. If that would have been the winner, that would have been absolutely sickening. We would have been.
You could hear on the commentary. You could hear how gutted Jamie Carragher was that they disallowed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, right. You move on. The winning goal come. We didn't. We brought on Yarmolenko for Haller. Yarmolenko done probably more in 10 minutes than what Haller done for the time he was on. But Yarmolenko's that sort of player, isn't he? He'll chase everything. He wants to get on the ball. But their winner was their two subs combining. It was a great little bit of interplay by Liverpool. Great ball from Shaqiri through Balbuena's legs. There is some suggestions that Mane was interfering with play. When you look at it from a certain angle, he was in line with Fabianski's view of the ball, but it'd have been very harsh if they would have given that. They would have been very harsh.
I personally weren't calling for it, but you look at the one that was given against us at Chelsea. Again, it's just consistency, with Antonio laying on the floor. But again, I'm not sitting here like outraged out of it. I think on the balance things, it was a good goal. I just wish there would be consistency, because at the same time, no way was Antonio in blocking, obstructing anyone's vision. But yeah, it was a great goal, I think, at the end of it.
Great finish. He give Fabianski the eyes. He's put it in the far corner. Great finish. Can't knock it. And it's a horrible way to concede in the last few minutes, and especially at Anfield when we defended so well in that game. Even
we were never out of the game.
Sorry,
we were never out of the game again.
No, we was never out of the game. And if we'd have won that 2-1, yes, people would have looked at it and thought, oh, it was a bit of like we snatched a win now. But you got to go to these places like. Man, you got to play when you play the Man Cities, the Tottenham, the Liverpools. You got to expect them to have more of the ball. They're a better team. They've got the better players. It's what you do off the ball, and we've defended so well. And even Liverpool, to be fair, they had a debut for that Nat Phillips at the back, and he looked like a seasoned pro. He looked like he'd been playing there. He looks a very good defender. I think Liverpool got a good find there, and you never know. With Van Dijk being that injured, he might be a good replacement for Van Dijk at the moment. And he got man of the match, and rightly so. And that shows a lot that their centre-back got man of the match. So we obviously did cause it. He kept Haller out of the game. Yeah.
And that's what I was saying about Haller weren't aggressive enough going up against a young, inexperienced defender. He practically had him in his pocket most of the game. And that's the thing for me, is that that's the difference. He grabbed his opportunity and took it well. Haller didn't grab his opportunity at all. And as I said before earlier on in the show, it's not all Haller's fault, but you've got when he had the time to win his battles, he didn't win his battles.
This is an interesting one as well. We've praised David Moyes over the last couple of weeks, but once again, I think the substitutions let him down this week, because Liverpool made their substitution on the 70th minute and went for it. We brought on Lanzini and Benrahma on the 89th minute. Now, what can they do? 2-1 down at Anfield. They're not gonna change the game, are they? Yeah, so them substitutions would have been made 10 minutes earlier when it was 1-1. It could have been a totally different game.
Yeah, he was obviously holding on for the point when he was trying to hold on for the point, and then he's gone on and he's obviously gone and sort of been reactionary and thought we might as well go for it once we've gone down. And that's turned out to backfire on him, And I think if we do hold on to the point, we might be talking about it differently. But I don't think had any.
It's one of them, though, isn't it? It's one of them. If you're at a ground like Anfield, where we never do well up there, and you're 1-1 going into the closing stages of the game. You're torn. Do you try and hold what you got? Yeah. Or,
That's
but like Ryan said, you can't go to these grounds against teams like City, Liverpool, and go toe-to-toe with them. Otherwise, you just get picked apart.
In our last 5 games, we've averaged 35% possession.
Yeah,
They just showed him, didn't it?
The thing is, making the subs earlier, if he was going to look at, I totally get trying to hold out for a point. Getting a point there was a good point. But if you when they made their changes and attacking changes, if you make a couple of changes that are attacking changes, you still give them something to think about.
I mean, got four players back, didn't they, to counter your...
you can't
later on into the game when certain people are getting tired and
I think he was looking to bring Fredericks on and then changed it to put Lanzini and Benrahma on because obviously we conceded the goal, and that's the thing. You got to weigh up your option. You either stick to your guns and try and hold out, or you go swap like for like players. So you've got fresher players coming on in attacking positions to make Liverpool think, well, hang on, they've had a little bit of joy when the quarter's on the break. They've now got these players who are attacking minded. We can't afford to push forward because if we get caught out, they've got fresher legs than our players at the back. So
Jurgen Klopp made them substitutions to change the game and win the game. When he made them substitutions, we had Diop sitting on the bench. Bring Diop on. Strengthen the back five a bit more.
Yeah, you either counteracts by bringing on another defender, but sometimes, especially the way we're playing at the moment on the counter-attacking, the way the counter-attack football, giving the other side possession, being solid and keeping the shape. If you then bring on the attacking players, as I said, swap the attacking players around. You're doing well with what you've got already defensively. So swap the attacking players around so it gives you fresher legs. So that when you do have to punt the ball forward or do have to get the ball into a channel, you've got fresher legs chasing after it.
Should have brought Randolph off as well and had two goalkeepers in goal.
You know what? I think what he could have done maybe is took Allaire off a lot sooner for Benrahma and put Benrahma up front because even if you're not expecting Benrahma to do anything, obviously he's going to be a quicker player. He's going to come on a lot more energetic and he could probably give them something a lot more to think about at the back.
And I'll be honest, I mean, I know he was only on the pitch for 4 minutes, but I'm not saying he done a lot, but what he done was everything he done was right, Benrahma. And you see him, he nutmegged. I think he done 2 nutmegs, flicked around a few people. It's tough for him. What can he do? He can't come on and he ain't going to change the game, is he? But I'd like to see him maybe get a start against Fulham on Saturday.
It's going to be interesting to see what he does against Fulham. As I said, they've got their first win tonight. They've got their first clean sheet, so they're going to be very, very. It's going to boost their confidence going into the game. So,
well, as I said at the beginning of the show, I mean, if we feel like we've had a good start to the season, and to be fair, I mean, Fulham was only on a point tonight. And they're now on 4 points. If they beat us on Saturday, they go a point behind us.
Exactly.
So it's very tight down there, and we need to sort of pick up another couple of results just to get ourselves in that top half of the table because we've had a good. We're still in that lower half of the table, but. Really, with the tables, you don't really start looking at it until you're 10 games in, really, and that's when the table starts taking shape after about 10, 12 games.
Yeah, but that's why this game is huge for us in terms of seeing where Moyes is because, like I said, it's all well and good putting in these good performances against these teams. This will show us where we are and the fact that if we truly, because I think you look from the Arsenal game to the Liverpool game, I think consistently we've been good, right? Even when we haven't won. Fulham, I want to see us now. This is a situation where Moyes needs to show what he can do when we're expected to have more of the ball or we can have more opportunities to attack. Can he set us up right to really go for the jugular and really go for it rather than how we've been playing? We've been sitting back and soaking up pressure. This is going to be, I think, a big test for Moyes. We've got the players there to hurt them. And I think it's how he looks to get the best out of them. I'd be very surprised if he sets up the same way we have been setting up.
Yeah, he could change it around a bit, couldn't he? And go to a flat back 4 and add another attacking player into the team.
I would love to see. It's again who he drops, but I would love to see Masuaku as an out-and-out winger. I mean, I think he's been one of our best players, most consistent players. I think dropping him would be harsh, but at the same time, I'd rather see him as a winger. And then a left back, like a left winger, than a left back.
Do you know what? I can see him playing the same formation on Saturday with Haller up top, but I'd like to see maybe Benrahma start and maybe I don't know. It's tough. Either Bowen or Fornals just drop to the bench for this game. You know, because Bowen's played a lot of football since he's joined the club. He hasn't missed a game, has he? So maybe giving Ben Rama a start, or maybe even Fornals. He's had a good run in the team. I'm not saying drop him because he's been shit, because he hasn't. But you got to freshen it up a bit, and you got to give players like Ben Rama a start now, just to ease him into the Premier League a bit more. And when you're playing teams like Fulham, we got to remember is Fulham are still a Championship team. Really, they haven't strengthened that much since the Championship. They've got a few good signings in, but Ben Rama might be confident playing up against Fulham because he played against them last season. So it's a difficult one for Moyes, and this is why he gets paid by West Ham to do the job. And it's as Dan said, it's going to be an interesting game, and this is where we can really start judging Moyes now.
And that's the thing. The thing is, you can he can play the way we're playing. You know, he can keep the five at the back. But instead of having Fornals and Bowen deep as they are when we're setting up, push them higher up the pitch, get them closer to Haller, or like you said, drop one of them. To be honest, I'd probably drop Fornals, start Ben Rama and Bowen either side of Haller, and play the three.
Yeah.
You know, if he even wanted to, he could go 4-3-3 for this game. You know, to try and dominate the midfield with Rice, Souček, and one other, and then just have the flat back four, which we haven't been great with a flat back four, but we need some. This is the biggest game now. You know, this game against Fulham is the biggest game we've got, and it's the one we've got to win because we cannot afford to lose this one. Losing this one or even drawing this one is a terrible result for us going into how hard we've worked in the previous games coming up to this. You know, and that's what it's all about. I just think either do what I said on Friday Night Pint, go to 5-3-2 or literally switch to a 4-3-3.
And not only that, a good win against Fulham would be good going into the international break because we don't play then. We play Sheffield United after that on the 22nd. So it's a 2-week break. And it'll be good to go into that international break with a win, maybe in the top half of the table. You know, players are buzzing. We've had a great start to the season. And then you can kick off the next part of the season after the next international break. I think, we've got Sheffield United, Villa, and then Man United at home. You know, Sheffield United's away, but Villa and United are at home. So there's games there. I mean, I watched Man United yesterday, and they look dreadful. They look dreadful. They made Arsenal look like Arsenal have been winning the league year in, year out.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the thing. You look at them 4 games. All 4 of them games are winnable. Right. Villa have had a fantastic start to the season, but they're still beatable. They're still a beatable side. And this is the thing now. This is where, like you said, this is where Moyes earns his money. This is how far the next 4 games is we see how far Moyes has come and as the team has come under Moyes. You know, it's the big thing now. Get this win against Fulham. Forget about the other games. Get the win against Fulham, especially the fact that hopefully after the international break, Antonio's back. We get 3 points against Fulham, having Antonio coming back. The places that the confidence around the boys and all that is going to be absolutely buzzing if we can do that. Antonio coming back, maybe not start him in the Sheffield United game, but then you're going to bring him back in for Villa or Man United. And let's be honest, them defenders for both them sides are not going to want to be up against Antonio in the form that he's in at the minute.
One thing we need to
I'll be telling him to target Maguire in the Man U game.
Oh, definitely.
The one thing we've got to work on though as well, since David Moyes has come in, we've dropped 16 points from winning positions. Since David Moyes, that's not including Pellegrini. I think with Pellegrini it was like 28 or whatever. But that's one thing we need to, if we're going to do anything this season, like aim for a top half finish, and have a decent season. That is one thing that we need to stop doing because we do it quite a lot. And as I said, 16 points is a lot to chuck away. That is why we was near the bottom last season. And if we carry on doing that, I know we've had a good start, but if we go on a bad run now of not winning for the next 6 games, we'll find ourselves back down the bottom.
And that's it. The thing is, if you're giving away, you go 1-0 up like we did against City, 1-0 up against Liverpool, and you end up losing the game, you can sort of accept it a bit because they are top sides. I think last season we gave away leads to teams that we shouldn't be giving away leads to. Teams, once we put a nose in front, we should go on and get a nose further in front. So that's the thing for me is, Liverpool, City, I sort of accept it. Do that against the Fulhams, the Sheffield United, then we've not come anywhere further forward than we were last season.
Yeah,
I
I think a big positive as well,
West Ham and
scoring as well. We are scoring more goals, and I think we've got positive goal scoring. We've got positive goal difference at the moment, and like apart from the Newcastle game, we've been sort of banging in goals in every single game.
So you look at our opening 7 games, taking away probably Newcastle that we thought we would get a result in. If you'd have said after 7 games against these teams we'll have 8 points and plus 3 goal difference, you know, usually these teams batter us and we're like minus 20 at them. You know,
exactly.
That's huge.
We didn't take 1 point off of any of them teams last season, you know, and it's been a great run. But we just need to the Sheffield Uniteds and the Fulhams and the Aston Villas. They're the teams that we need to pick points up if we're going to do anything this season.
I think we're creating more chances as well. I think that's a big thing. We're creating more chances. I suppose that's why, in a way, I'd be hesitant to change the lineup too much, I suppose, because we have been creating so much and scoring so much. But again, we're not going to be giving up so much of the possession. So we need to find a way to do it. And maybe you, like you said, you play that formation, but like Scott said, play certain players further forward.
Well, this is why I was thinking about maybe Ben Rama starting, because against Fulham, we're going to have more of the ball. You know, we're going to have a lot more possession. So it's what we do. And it's a big pitch, the London Stadium. So players like Ben Rama, you can even Lanzini's probably in with a shout of maybe getting a start. But, you know, Bowen, players like that, they're going to have so much freedom on the pitch against Fulham, because Fulham are going to set up against us like we set up against Liverpool and City and things like that. And they're gonna want us to invite us on. But it's about us breaking them down. And that's why I think that someone like Ben Rama should start on Saturday.
The thing is as well, I can see, as I said, we were discussing on Friday Night Pint with Ben Rama, the handling that Moyes has done. He's handled him a lot like Harry handled Bowen. And this would have been, if you look at when Bowen first come in, this would have been the fixture that Bowen would have been chucked in for. So I fully expect Ben Rama to start this game. Don't know who's going to drop out, but I think he'll start this one.
Yeah, it'd be good to mix it up a bit as well, wouldn't it? Give these players a chance, show them what they can do, show him why he's all the hype about him. So anyway, it was another narrow defeat against Liverpool at Anfield. Same last season, wasn't it? You know, when the crowd. It was weird when they were showing the highlights of last season. There was crowds there. I'm getting used to not seeing crowds in football stadiums at the moment in England. So,
it's frustrating. You know, we've had been unlucky there 2 seasons on the spin now. We've been unlucky against Arsenal for about 3 or 4 games now on the spin, where we should have got something out of the games. But that's in a way, it's a positive, because 2 seasons ago we went up to Anfield, got slapped 4-0 first game of the season.
With like the oldest bloody back 4 in the history of the Premier League.
Yeah, you know, so it's good. It's good. We've come forward. Now's the real test.
Thing is, I don't know about you, but I actually look excited. I get excited looking forward to watching West Ham play lately, because I feel like that we've got players in the team now that can make things happen. I know when results are good, obviously you look forward to watching your team more, but there is something about West Ham at the moment, and I don't know, I feel like there's a positive vibe around the team. I'm not saying the club, because obviously GSB out and all that, and rightly so, but I'm just saying the team, David Moyes and the team and the backroom staff. There seems to be a little bit of, you know, spirit there at the moment, something that we've been lacking for a long time.
I think it's the best team spirit you can see, for me personally, since
John Lyle.
Since the last season at Upton Park.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't seen the team spirit that high, and everybody seems to want everyone to do well, and everyone wants to, you know, everyone's happy. The subs, when you see the reactions when we score, everyone seems happy for the players that are on the pitch to get the goals or to get the results. And it's good to see. And, you know, hopefully it is an happy camp with all that, and, you know, the players are playing for the manager, which we also like to see. So fingers crossed, you know, move on, get Fulham done, have a little break for the internationals, and then bring on Sheffield United.
Graham, final thoughts?
All that. What Scott just said.
You got anything to add? You want to add anything, Gray?
Eh?
Come on, mate.
No, I'm just hoping we don't, you know, I'm hoping we don't do the usual West Ham thing of, you know, playing well against the big boys and then slipping up in games we should really be.
Let's be honest, Gray, we all know we're going to fucking do it.
Yeah, but I think like we wouldn't be surprised if but like you say, there's a positivity around the team at the minute. It's made us difficult to beat, and we're playing some nice stuff as well at the minute. There seems to be a bit of confidence running through the side.
Definitely, Dan. Anything to add, mate?
Yeah, echo what all of these lot said, and just going into the Fulham game. Yeah, mixture of nerves and excitement, but. Like I said, I'm enjoying watching the team, and I don't have that sense of dread when the weekend comes about and worrying that we're going to get completely slapped. So big game. But this could be the start of now a decent run. Now we've got a lot of these sides out, and hopefully now there'll be times where we will drop in a poor performance, but it's how we pick ourselves up after it and proceed. From there, and hopefully we put in more good performances than bad.
Definitely. But we've got to build up to the game this week. Fulham Saturday night kickoff, isn't it? 8:00. Late Saturday night.
Oh no, we've had a lot of them this season, haven't we? We've had a lot of these late.
I think it's easier to do when there's no crowds involved. It's just,
and it's a bloody box office crap, isn't it?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see the figures for that one. But yeah, I mean, we move on. We move on to Saturday. So yeah, there'll be previews coming up. There'll be watch-alongs, fan cams, post-match pints. Hopefully, we'll be happy, smiling on Saturday night. But this little bonus Monday night PMP. As I said, we couldn't all get together on Saturday or Sunday, but we're here. We've done it. We're live. But,
I don't think I even checked the WhatsApp group until this morning. I was that destroyed.
We all need it once in a while.
Yeah, I thought listen, lockdown's coming, mate. I thought I'm just gonna go for it and have a big drink up before it.
Go home, Dan.
That's it, mate. Do you know what? I didn't go home until the sun came up. So that's everything you need to know there.
But keep subscribing to the channel. All the links are in the description below. T-shirts are available. Pint glasses are available. You never get them, but they're there. But Scott, Graham, Dan, one thing left to say.
Come on, you Iron.
Scott, all good wave from Scott.